Hi everyone, welcome to my latest monsterhighdoll transformation. I'm on Blue Sky for a while now, and the other day I saw this beautiful drawing passing by. And yep, I immediately knew I wanted to make her. I loved Uma Thurman back in the day in the movie Batman and Robin, so it was no brainer for me to make this. And this ugly figurine sealed the deal. I had to make something more beautiful than that. The roots I liked, so I will use something like that. I had a Draculara I thought was perfect for my super sexy dangerous botanist doctor. As always, preparing the head by cutting the hair. Yeah, this was yucky as hell. Warming up the head. Scraping all the goo out of there. And as almost always, there was a lot. Oh my word. I hate this bit so much. It's my least favorite bit about customizing, alongside with sanding that is. So I cleaned everything up with acetone. Removing all the face paint with pure acetone. And dunking her head for 2 days in a mixture of 90% acetone and 10% water. I made a new batch for this. And as often as I can, I will use thrift store finds in my work. This time I found a couple of little lampshades that I saw lying there for ages. So finally I bought them because I thought it would be perfect for all the roots I will make for my girl. Yeah, I have a plan, or somewhat of a plan. She will hover between her plants and the roots will hold her up, and she will hold one plant in her hand. So this lampshade will become a root base. Her hands I switched with another doll. I cut my girl in a few pieces so I can position her how I want. Next time don't use a permanent marker. So my plan is not fully complete. I still have to figure some things out, like how her posture needs to be. So I check that all the time, what looks the best and the sexiest. Everything got some sanding. got rid of all the seams and factory markings for as far as it's necessary. And maybe you already noticed, but in the beginning of all my projects I try to be very clean and organized. But that changes throughout. I have a tiny space to work here, and everything becomes crowded and messy over time. I can't help it, but I can't keep up with the cleaning up. I'm more focused on the project than on the cleaning. Maybe one day I will learn and my videos will become neater. I put all the bits and pieces together again with wire, super glue and the baking soda. Yeah, I found a container that's very practical. It was an old toothpick container. Super handy. So, the base. I tried soldering all the wire on there. The lampshade was made from metal, I thought. But I will spare you a long day of cursing and trying and cursing. It didn't work. Even after I sanded down all the paint on there and the bare metal was visible, but I still struggled so much. Apparently I still can't solder, so I gave up. I cleaned it all up and took out my now beloved baking soda and glue mixture. First I glued the wire with super glue and the BS, and then I covered all the wire with the white glue and BS mixture. I make little batches at a time because it's not durable for long. Maybe 1 or maybe 2 days max, depending on how fluid it is, I guess. Or if you put water in there, maybe it will stay okay longer. I also found this string of leaves in a thrift store. Coincidental, just a day before I saw the poison ivy drawing, and I thought I could use it for the ivy. But they needed some color and texture, so I mixed up some acrylics and BS and painted a few layers on a few. Oh, and I have to tell you all, it dries so quickly. The first ones I did are already dry and can already get a second coat. And now I have some green left over. Why not make some plants at the same time? I have a lot of shells I thought were perfect for some bloodthirsty, flesh-eating plants. So they got some green coats as well. But I put some more baking soda in there. Continuing with the base, all the roots got multiple layers of the BS mixture until I was satisfied. But I wanted my girl to hover between the roots and somewhere she had to be glued on there, so I swirled a few roots up in the air so she later could be glued in place, hopefully. I love it so much working with it. Although it needs multiple layers and that takes time, but what technique doesn't require that? But this is an easy and cheap method. It's my favorite so far. My girl also got some mixture on her body to smooth everything nicely. Also, sanding is not that difficult in my opinion. And after sanding, it's easy to put another layer if necessary. For now, I'm not doing a separate video on all my BS recipes. First of all, I just wing it mostly. And second and most important, I don't have a nice kitchen to show you how I made my porcelain clay. And with this project, I didn't make that at all. And again I tried something. I had some mixture left over and I made some teeth. Her plants needs teeth, right? I also used a mixture in some leaf molds and it worked great. It sanded easy and also paints easy. And they stay a tiny bit flexible. Till now I had no breaking. And the teeth came out great also. They too were a tiny bit flexible. The ivy leaves got some extra colors I did with my Intense pencils. The ink becomes permanent after it gets wet. Some plants got a tongue I made with wire and the BS mixture. And I glued all the teeth in place with UV resin. Super glue didn't work so well. And all the teeth got a shiny layer of resin too. Oh, and the shiny shell I covered up later with paint. I thought it was too shiny. Continuing with the base, it got some dry brushing in different colors. I had some leaves left from my tree fairies I could use for my plants, who also got some slimy droops of goo. So my girl soaked for 2 days and dried for two, and was now ready, I thought. You can see the difference. I placed her head on her body. Tried her pose. What's that? Oh well, I fixed that in a minute. And I glued her head with super glue. She cut some watered down acrylic paints in pink and green on her face and body. For her flesh-eating lovelies, I used wire and a BS mixture, of course. Yeah, those leaves are going on there, perfect. I hanged them all up to let them dry. So the most poison ivies you see have red hair, right? But when I googled a bit, I saw this drawing and oh my word, pink! She has to have pink hair, of course. So I prepared some acrylic yarn. First I unraveled the threads because I find combing it later is much easier that way. Just my opinion. Every customizer has his own techniques. And although I love this pink color, it was too light. So I gave it some soft pastels. I tried first on a few bits. I painted some tiny dried flowers with white acrylic. My girl got a few more layers of watered down acrylics in paint and green. And I did her face off camera. I told you already, I'm not proud of my face-up skills. I wanted her to look sexy with her mouth a tiny bit open. Time to put everything together. I marked the front and glued everything with super glue. The ivy leaves I thought were too big, so I only used two, just for the sake of it. And meanwhile I glued all the hair wefts on in stages. I love it. All the leaves and little flowers glued on. She got a few on her body as well. I put her with super glue on a few roots and her favorite baby in her hand, also with super glue. Her hair got some hairspray. Oh, and the final coat of MSC, protecting her hair, of course. And then she's done. I loved her face up in the end, but I didn't film it. You know why by now. I think this is my new favorite transformation. I love almost everything about her and I think it looks altogether so great. But what do you think? I really love to hear your thoughts and read it all down below. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would truly help my channel. Hope to see you next time.